So I want to share some more tools. These are ones that I use personally. It addresses those of us with wide attention spans. I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but when I read books on ADHD that talk about solutions, there are solutions that I've already incorporated into my life years ago. So you do the math. These are affordable, low-tech solutions. The first one is a giant whiteboard. The bigger, the better. Put it in a place that you're going to walk past all the time. You can write two things on it: urgent tasks and temporary tasks. As an example of an urgent task, I write garbage in all caps to remind me that I need to take the garbage and recycling out that night. As an example of a temporary task, I write things that need to be done once. It might be things like haircut, or buy holiday gifts, or reach out to Greg. This does a couple things. It's going to take it from rumbling around in my head to something down in black and white. That's going to take the mental load of that task off me and make it more likely for me to follow through. Now, there are some specific techniques that can help with using a whiteboard so you don't get overwhelmed, but we'll talk about those at a later stage. Let's move on to the second one. I call it a rotation. For this one, you'll need two things: a cardstock and a book dart. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down all the tasks that you do on a recurring basis. For example, on mine, I have on there to do my laundry, pay my credit card bills, look at my budget, do all the tasks for maintaining my small business, and so forth. Then, once you've done that, you take the book dart and you put it next to the task at the top of the list. This will do a couple of things. First, it will give you a focus for the next task to do. If you get distracted by something, or you walk into a room and forget what was next on the list, you can always return to that focus. Second, it will help you address areas that are easy to neglect. So if you've ever forgotten to pay a credit card bill, or you've found household tasks piling up, then having a reminder to address the neglected area makes it more likely that you'll attend to it. As you address it preventatively, it's not an overwhelming task when you get around to it. So it can take 5 minutes instead of hours. Third, with the help of incentives, it can give you something to look forward to. As you create your list of unpleasant or low probability tasks, you can insert pleasant or high probability tasks. These can be rewards that give you a bit of a break, and then you can return to doing the unpleasant low probability task. Next, I'll talk about how to select pleasant high probability tasks. There are some tricks to that. So here's how to select a pleasant high probability task. Pick something short. It's just to remind yourself that there are things to look forward to. Don't pick something that's going to make it hard for you to go on to the next thing. For example, if your reward activity is video games and that leads you to say just one more game, and you end up gaming for 9 hours straight, then that's probably not a good reward activity. Pick something that you like. If the reward gets stale, then you can pick something else or adjust. For example, I like to pick things to read. This could be web comics, 5 minutes of a fun video, or my favorite game books. You might not like those things, and that's okay, but you can pick similar things, short amount of time and fun for you. Now, what do you do if you find yourself avoiding one of the tasks? First, see if you can break the task into smaller specific steps. For example, clean my room could be broken into pick up clothes, sweep the floor, remove items from my desk. Second, ask yourself what the minimum amount of progress that you can make on a task is. Then after doing the minimum amount on that task, you can stop, that's fine. Or if you're on a roll, you can keep going, that's fine as well. For example, I used to have a box full of papers to be filed. They were things that I didn't feel like dealing with. So to get through that box, I made a task to sort 5 items in that box. It took a while to get through, but doing the minimum amount on a recurring basis made it so I got through the whole box. And there were some times when I got in a rhythm and got through a bunch of it. After a while, I emptied the box and got rid of it. Third, ask yourself if this task is really important. Sometimes a task that we've set for ourselves no longer connects with our values or interests, and we can take it off the list. Fourth, what is the right amount of stimulation going on in the background? For example, when I was writing this script, I needed to have instrumental music going in the background because music with lyrics or a podcast would have distracted me too much. When I write progress notes, I play no commentary video game playthroughs on in the background, which for me is a medium level of stimulation. When I do billing, because the task is so monotonous, I have action movies playing in the background, which is a high level of stimulation. You can experiment with each task and you'll find what works for you. Sometimes I hear people with ADHD talk about how they have to make themselves do things or they judge themselves as lazy, and it might be a matter of getting the optimal level of stimulation um, instead of being lazy. So, not too much, not too little, but the Goldilocks amount for each task. Fifth, do other people have helpful ideas about the task you're avoiding? Would anyone be willing to do the task with you? Do you have any fears around that issue? What would that help to get input from other people? These are strategies for problem solving that can really help you out. All right, that's the basics of using the whiteboard and cardstock and a book dart. These can really help you move your life in the direction that you want to go. Hope this helps.